Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We are learning Mishna Nazir, Perek Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah Gimel, Mishnah 3. Okay, now there is something very important principle to bear in mind when we learn this Mishnah, and that is that if, let's say, a Nazir in the middle of his term of Naziris comes into contact with the impurity of a dead body, if he becomes impure from a dead body, basically everything he's done until now is, as we say, down the drain. He's got to start all over again. So now, Mi Sha'ama Hareini Nazir, someone who said, I am hereby a Nazir. He declared himself a Nazir. Did not specify for how long, and therefore he has to observe the minimum 30-day period of Naziris. And what happened here? Nitma Yom Shloshim. He became Tameh on day 30. The last day, the very last day, that's when he became Tameh. Says the Mishnah. And again, we're talking about he became Tameh on the 30th day. It was before he shaved, before he brought his karbanis, before he actually ended the Naziris. That's when he became Tameh, became impure. Seiser es hakoil. He destroys or forfeits everything. All the 30 days of Naziris have all just been lost. It's got to start all over again. Now, if you recall yesterday, or actually yesterday and the day before, we learned the halacha that if on day 30 a person cuts his hair, instead of waiting for the full 30 days, does it work? Is it good?
No.
The answer is yes, it is good. Because since we say miksas hayom kakulai, part of the day is like the whole day. So therefore, if he goes through the ritual of ending his Naziris, and it's on day 30 itself, since he started the day as a Nazir. So we say part of the day is like the whole day. It's considered like he fulfilled all 30 days, and then the cutting of his hair and everything was good. Now, if so, why not say that over here too? Why not say he became impure on day 30, which means he started day 30, he was pure, and at some point on day 30 became impure. Okay, why don't we say here also, well, part of the day he did pure, it should count like a whole day, and he shouldn't have to do the whole thing over again. Well, the reason for it, I won't be able to explain to you right now what the difference is. However, this Tana holds that regarding the cutting of the hair and ending the Naziris, for that we say part of the day is like a whole day. But you don't say that for becoming Tameh. Basically, if the point is that you're completing your term, okay, if you're completing your term, then we say part of the day is like a whole day. But if the whole question here is now actually forget about completing the term, it's a question of undoing everything because it became impure, we do not apply there to say part of the day is like a whole day, and therefore to say that, well, he kept all 30 days in purity, so he's good. The answer is no. When it comes to the issue of becoming impure, he's got to remain actually pure for all 30 days. Now, if it came out that he went ahead and he cut his hair, his carbon in the middle of day 30, and then after that he became Tameh, there's no issue then, because then he really ended his Naziris. He ended it, finished. But in a situation where he didn't yet end his Naziris, but you want to say, but he completed it, because of the fact that a part of the day is like a whole day, regarding the issue of becoming impure, and therefore basically nullifying everything that was done until now, for that we're not going to be able to say part of the day is like a whole day, to say that everything's still in order. That's the Tana Kama. Rabbi Eliezer says, Eino Seiser Ela Shiva. There is only, now I'm going to translate the words, he only forfeits 7 days. That's what they translate Seiser. Seiser means destroys. In this context, it means he forfeits what he did until now. So Eliezer says, Eino Seiser Ela Shiva. What does he forfeit? He forfeits 7 days. That sounds like, according to Rabbi Eliezer, that if you become Tameh on the 30th day, that you only have to forfeit 7 days, not a whole month, but 7 days. But what Rabbi Eliezer means is the following. Rabbi Eliezer really means is like this. If you were on the final day, and on the final day you became Tameh from a dead body, we do apply the principle of part of the day is like a whole day. It's considered like you've completed the period of Naziris, and becoming Tameh is not going to knock off everything that you did. However, if a person becomes Tameh from a dead body, right? What's going to be the minimum amount of time he's going to be tamei before he can become pure again? 7 days, right? You got to go. You have to be sprinkled with the paraduma water on day 3 and on day 7, and until then you're impure. So it's very well, according to Belezer, that this person who became pure from a dead body will not have to forfeit his Nazirus. But he can't go through the process of ending his Nazirus because he's tamei. He can't bring his karbanis. So therefore, it will come out that his being a Nazir will extend for another 7 days. Meaning, if you're a Nazir and you didn't bring and you maybe you finished your days, you finished your time period, but you didn't yet go through the cutting the hair and the cutting your hair and bringing the sacrifices, you're still a Nazir for all practical purposes. You can't drink wine yet, right? You can't become impure. So at the end of the day, according to Belezer, if you would not have become impure, you could have just finished everything. Now he's got to wait another 7 days in order to become pure to finish his Nazirus with cutting his hair and bringing the karbanis. Okay, so that's the first case of the Mishnah. The next case is Hareini Nazir Shleishim Yom. He says, I am a Nazir for 30 days. He explicitly said, it didn't just say, I am a Nazir, and we say, well, if you don't specify, you have to do the minimum 30 days. He said 30 days straight out. And when you say 30 days, we learned previously that when you say 30 days, and let's say you bring your karbanis in the middle of the 30th day, does it count? No, it doesn't. Because when you specifically say I'm a Nazir for 30 days, you got to go through all 30 days. That's what you said. Then you're not going to say part of the day is like a full day. If you say I'm a Nazir for 30 days, that means you got to do 30 complete days. So therefore, if let's say the person said, Hareini Nazir Shleishim Yom, I am a Nazir for 30 days, Nitma Yom Shleishim, and he became tamei on day 30, so Yisrael Sakal. He now is going to annul everything. Everything he forfeits. Why? Because he didn't complete his Nazirus. It may be the final day of his Nazirus, but he didn't finish it. Because in this case where he specified 30 days, he's got to do all 30 days. And therefore, it's not like before where we say part of the day is like a full day, so essentially you've completed the term of Nazirus. In this case, you haven't completed the term of Nazirus. And therefore, since you haven't completed the term of Nazirus, we can't just say that you're going to be a Nazir for 7 more days, but rather the 30 days that you completed, that you observed, are forfeited, and you got to start over again. Tomorrow's Mishnah, Mr. Hashem, is going to actually clarify a little bit more about this end of the Mishnah. Again, the end of the Mishnah says what it says. If you say, I'm a Nazir for 30 days, and then you became tamei day 30, you forfeit everything, which comes out that in this case, there's no argument between the Tanakh and Rebbe Lezer. In this case, everybody seems to agree that everything is going to be forfeited. However, as we're going to see from next Mishnah, Mitzvah Hashem, it doesn't actually work with the same reasoning. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi. I thought it was